Hi, my name is Matthew Stevens, founder of HEADS, a nonprofit organization that focuses on emotional intelligence and strengthening individuals through emotional intelligence while building stronger communities. I just wanted to make this video to kind of let everybody know exactly what HEADS is about and how we're going to accomplish our mission. First and foremost, let me say thank you for taking the time to watch this. We really appreciate it. As I had mentioned, our mission statement is, helping individuals improve communities by strengthening emotional intelligence. Okay, so what is emotional intelligence? A lot of people, from my understanding, aren't really familiar with that term. So I went ahead and went to Webster's Dictionary and got the definition for you. It is the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions and handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. So what does that mean to us? The average everyday Joe? Well, what that means is to know why you do things, and to be able to, after you understand why you do them, make decisions based on the knowledge of how you feel, and make decisions that are equal and fair, not just to others but also to yourself. The Drake, he said, he's a rapper if you guys aren't familiar with him. Something he said that really hit me as I was coming up with this program. He said, it takes a certain type of man to teach, to be from the streets or be from the hood and still know the streets. Excuse me. And really, that's very true. I know a lot of people that I'm close to, they don't want to see a therapist, or they're uncomfortable seeing a therapist, or going to seek help for addictions or domestic violence issues, because they feel like the person on the other end of the table just doesn't understand them. So I want to give a little bit about my background and where I'm from, and why am I the person to teach the emotional intelligence to just communities. At the age of 28, I had some repressed memories that came back from some childhood abuse that took place when I was 3 and 4 years old. From that moment, it was basically me trying to make sense of everything. I had worked with sex offenders for 4 years in Colorado Springs, running a group home. After that, I went to a RTC, which stands for Residential Treatment Facility, in West Virginia, where I also spent about 4.5 years. So I had a good background as far as kids were concerned, as far as knowing behaviors, as far as correcting behaviors, and really helping them. So in one of the programs that I worked in, we used Nicholas Hobbs' Principles of Rehab. And what it was is that Nicholas Hobbs basically came up with these principles to help children who underwent traumatic experiences to kind of overcome that event in their life, and to be able to go back into society and have a very well-balanced view of everything. So what I did was I took those principles of rehab and I kind of rewrote them. I rewrote them to fit, first of all, adults and just anybody who felt like they needed some extra guidance. And really, the truth of the matter is that we can all benefit from additional emotional intelligence. So the course will be 2 hours a week. I will go into a community. I will be teaching the course, just like I said, using my experiences. It isn't group therapy. It isn't, oh, please come tell me all your problems. Although I'd be happy to listen to anything anybody has to say. I don't want anybody to feel like you're going to come in and I'm going to put you on the spot, because that's simply not the case. I went through a lot of transitions throughout my life, especially the last 7 years, and one of those transitions was going from shy to just knowing my role and being comfortable in myself. And that's really what, the idea of heads. There are so many things wrong in our communities. Drug use is astronomical. And I feel bad. I feel bad because, there are children who don't get to eat because their parents spend their food benefits on getting high. There are people getting killed senselessly because, he looked at me the wrong way. It's time for a change, and I don't think that anybody would disagree with that. The problem is, how do we fix such a humongous problem? Well, we have to educate individuals. We have to let individuals make choices, to let them decide, what, there's a better way of life, and I want that better life. So, like I said, the Principles of Rehab is what our program is based on. I'm going to go into a given community and teach the course over 10 weeks. Each class will only be 2 hours a week, so it's not overwhelming. There are 12 principles of rehab, and I've really struggled with this, going back and forth. But the reason I've decided on a 10-week course is because it takes about 66 days, according to Psychology Today, to develop a new thought pattern. And at 7 days a week times 10, that's 77. Give people a little bit of extra time. While I'm in these communities, working with individuals, and actually not individuals, but in a class setting, I'm also going to be reaching out to others in the community, such as business owners. Business owners, community agencies, boys and girls clubs. Really, if we want to see a change in our communities, we all have to take ownership. It's not a stronger police force problem. It's not a political leader's problem. It is our problem. And as I said, if we want things to change, we actually have to do something about it. You can say you want change all you want to, but until you're actually willing to make moves to make that happen, you're not going to get any change. You just basically are kind of wasting your energy. So, like I said, I've come up with heads, and the course will be 10 weeks long. I'm going to just very briefly go over some of the subjects we're going to be talking about. And what it is, like I said, I've worked with a team of people to come up with a teaching aids and a really hands-on method to get these things firmly established to the people I'm talking to the community members. Heads is going to be a completely willing program. In other words, if you don't want to be there, don't come. It's time, though, that we take ownership. We take ownership over ourselves. We take ownership over our choices, over how our lives are right now. It's easy to blame people. It's easy to look at people and say, well, if you wouldn't have done this, then I wouldn't have done that. Well, yeah, I understand that. I'm not saying I haven't done that before. But really all that does is delays the time between actually changing things or identifying the problem and actually being able to make changes in your life. So, like I said, here are the individual classes and subjects that we're going to talk about. If you have any questions, I encourage you to reach out to me via email, text, whatever you want to do, and I'll be happy to answer any questions I have. Just an FYI, we are going to run a pilot program, which will be held in Zanesville, Ohio. A small town, I believe it's about 30 minutes outside of Columbus, Ohio. And from there, we're going to go wherever, well, I shouldn't say we, I should say I am going to go wherever the community is, wherever there's a community who feels like they can benefit from this program. Okay, so what did we have first? In the first week, we're going to talk about trust and why it's important. Who do you need to trust? Who's the most important person you can trust, or you should trust? Another subject we're going to be talking about is life is to be lived now. This was one of the principles from Nicholas Ed's Principles of Riyadh. And, you know, I spent a lot of time trying to understand the past. The reality of the situation is, though, no matter whose answer or what answer I would have received during that time, it wouldn't have been good enough, because I needed the answer to come from within me. I had to make sense of it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who, after they start to explore themselves, will find the same is true for them. Week 3, we're going to talk about how competence and, you know, knowing things, having knowledge on a subject increases confidence. And again, this is all about you. This is all about yourself. You know, your confidence. How does knowledge build up confidence when it comes to yourself? Well, these are the subjects we're going to talk about. I'm going to also touch on a support system. You know, it's very important to have a support system, and but there's keys to a support system. You know, we may look at certain people like, well, I've known them forever, and that's a great thing, and that's wonderful. And I'm not trying to get you to question your current support system. I just want you to look at it and make sure that support system is doing just that, supporting you. Let's see. Another thing we're going to talk about is feelings to be expressed. And why? What's the benefit in that? Well, the benefit in expressing your feelings is just, first of all, being honest with yourself. And second of all, after you can identify out loud what you feel, then you can take the necessary steps to deal with those emotions. There is a video online, and it's on TED.com, and I believe the exact title of it is called The Man Box. I encourage you to look at that. For any men out there, I would encourage you to watch it, and if you have, you know, sons, I would encourage you to have them watch it. You know, and really take time to think about yourself and what, you know, the lesson that he's teaching and how that affects you. So some other subjects we're going to talk about is routine and how that plays into building yourself up. You know, I talked a little bit about the community and wanting to strengthen the community. Well, the truth is, for somebody to understand why the community is important, you know, they have to understand that they have to first of all experience the benefit of the community. And we do it every day. We just don't realize we do it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let's see. Another subject that's in there is, excuse me, I apologize. I have so many notes. It is something we often forget about, and I find it to be very important, is joy. I ask a lot of people, what's the difference between joy and happiness? Well, there's a tremendous difference. And it throws me off about how many people are really confused about the differences between joy and happiness. For me, from where I sit, happiness is, it can be found in items. It can be found in spending money. Joy, however, it derives from the feeling that you get when you spend that money. For example, if I give my daughter $20, and I say, hey, go to the mall, spend it however you want to, have a great day. You know, she might be happy with the toy that she buys. However, if I take her to the mall and I spend that same $20 on maybe eating a meal with her, or you know, going to a clothing store with her and just, you know, acting silly and enjoying our time, well, that situation created joy. Created joy in my heart. I'm going to wake up, hopefully 20 years from then, and remember that day that I spent with her, and vice versa. So I hope I kind of made that clear as to, the difference between happiness and joy. As I said, we really, as a society, we need to make some changes. And the only way we're going to make those changes is by looking at ourselves. To make changes where they're necessary, and let the community experience the benefit of those changes. I encourage you, if you haven't already, to go back to the How page and download the PowerPoint as far as how we got to the position that we're in, as far as our communities, as far as the violence and the drug abuse, and just the really chaotic situation we're in as far as society goes. Again, I want to take the time to say thank you for stopping by and checking out the video. Please follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter. Let's see, check out the LinkedIn account, or my LinkedIn account rather. My name is Matthew Stevens. I also have a book on Amazon, and it's called Secrets of Destruction. If you have any questions, again, I encourage you, please feel free to reach out to me, ask. I try and be an open book, and because I believe that's the way growth happens, is by being honest with yourself and really, acknowledging your mistakes. And trust me, I made plenty of them. I'm by no means perfect, but I think, actually I know, that's why this program is going to appeal to people. We all need a better way. Every day we turn on TV, we look at the news, and how many times do you watch the news and just get a really happy feeling? I can't speak for you, but for myself, it's not that often. I would certainly like to see it be a lot more often. And so from my standpoint, this is a way to start. Again, I appreciate your time. You have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you at a course soon. Have a great day.